me finding courage to stay on my higher purpose even when I get nervous. This is sort of like church for us because it's about the service. Something about me on Monday.
What up, what up, what up, world? What's up? I'm Compression. It's the Monday jump off number 164, the Art of Time. Before we get into it, I just want to say, hey, go into the description box, click on the link, or type in the link for Mezura Creations and pick up your US cards. It's a game of culture and strategy. It's an incredible card game. And it's mine. So I present that from me and my team to you and your family, friends, and everything. Help us grow, bloom, and blossom. So check it out. Also, check out Portal. That's PRTL.com. Use access code BELITE for 15% off all of your services. We just have many other things. If you need a doula, we have Desiree doulas. We have Medicine Essence. If you need a consultant, we have EA consultant. Incredible sister doing a lot of things in diversity and equality. If you're looking for really dope Afrocentric books, we got the sister Haru, whose link is also in the description. And just so many other dope people there. We have Comedic Wellness, Sister Bana Assat, who's just an incredible woman. We have Mentor and his wife, Kumari, happy solar return. Her birthday was just this Sunday. They are the owners of Life, Strength, and Health. Really great health consulting thing going on there. And just a dope family, you know what I mean? Dope husband and wife team. Just love them. Try not to so much. My mom called me about that. And then we have Red Feather Wellness, with Shimset Ra. She's doing her thing up in Connecticut and just trying to really post. I probably missed somebody, but they're definitely in the description box. Check it out. Really dope people that you should know, really dope things that you should be participating in. Please like, share, subscribe. And most importantly, just keep viewing. Also, for the 2 emails I got, thank you for that, for that chatting with me kind of thing. I probably won't respond to most. I will just talk about them live. So you can always email me at compreshm@gmail.com. That's KHEPRESH, the letter M, at gmail.com. So to answer one of you guys, I don't do a lot of celebrity, celebrity news or celebrity confrontations like that. It's Monday morning, or it's going to be Monday night, but today is Monday morning. And ultimately, my goal with every post on my end is to say something positive, something uplifting, something to motivate you and or something to make you think, something to whoever comes into my channel space here is, they're trying to be better, get better, do better, think better, practice their emotions better, etc. And I'm all about the optimism in the world. So, but I will answer your question without giving the particular person any extra clout that they're getting in or supposed to get, right? If you spent time in something and you express a particular thing, I'll say this, that all our actions will have a positive or negative react. We will either get a positive or negative reaction. And any way that comes, is still your prescription in life to handle that accordingly to your skills and tools that you say that you acquired, or knowledge that you've gained, or from education from people that you've been around. So good, bad, or indifference, your destiny, your life, is always in your hand, and the decisions you make is ultimately going to make or break you. So if you're talking about certain people being fired and trying to come into other sectors, all right, let's see what that do. I personally don't care too much for said individual. A lot of things have been done against black people, with this person, and they're gonna have to lay on their sword. Um, yeah, that's about it. But as always, I do wish all black people much success as long as they're not doing something destructive, right? So much success, however they're able to get in where they fit in, or is, they hit the boys and men end of the road in their career. So however that goes, you know, still in all, people still got to be able to eat, feed their family. It just is what it is. But I'm not rocking with it. So it's all good. And, I'm super comedic. So they probably would never rock with me or never even hear of me. Right. So that's my take on that person. And two, it also too shows the power of a particular group to um, to culminate around a situation and control the narrative of this situation, especially when dealing with outsiders. But I think that's a good thing, and hopefully, one day down the line, you know, me and my black people, we get together and we're able to do similar things to those, and at least in a articulate way, educated way, be able to give our truth and story, or the truth and story in the proper context of things to certain individuals, especially on these interwebs where everyone feels like they can just say any and everything just because they sit behind a screen. I do wonder how people would respond to a lot of people and a lot of conflicts if they were face to face and there was no cameras around. Would it be worse? Would it be as articulate, or would it be even worse on their end? Or would they be like quiet as a field mouse? So it's just those things. I always wonder sometimes if people even are who they are per se. Like, do they actually read what they read, or they're just internet skimmers, right? So they never go in depth. You never really see them with nothing lined out, no particular presentation, and no extra deeper thought on the subject. So it's interesting, but like I said before, she'll be okay. Her followers will be okay, and yeah, and her political ideology will be okay. It's just one of those things that it's just a transition. I just don't care too much for said person, so I don't mention them. Um, so, and then the other email I got, once again, it's still on the lines of, I guess, celebrity gossip. Um, if she's a good comedian, or that's her thing, and hyper feminist, good comedian, then she should be able to make something of it instead of complaining about not being invited to the parties. And if your own peers aren't inviting you to events, then that might be a you issue. And I'm pretty sure people have told her what the issue was. And if people decide not to change, then people just ain't going to rock with you. Like, if you're going into our thing now, if you're getting the same response from people that know you and are around you, and you're wondering why you're being left out of certain things, then you just need to work on that. You need to work on that. And you need to understand where you are in time and space, right? A lot of this, like, I'm me, I do me, I think as goal as a human being, we should always be evolving into our best self. Like what got us to survive the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s won't necessarily get us to survive what we need to survive in 2024 and up. So, and nothing stays the same. Like when I was growing up, Ninja Turtles was the wave. They still might be the wave, but they're the wave of the past. Now the next thing, whatever it is, Paw Patrol is the next wave or something like that, right? Just as an example, everything ebbs and flows, and everything goes in and out with time. So we change with the times, but we don't change the thing that's unchangeable, even with time. Yes, certain things that will always be unchangeable, even with time moving on. And it's always going to be 7 to 8 things, right? Justice, truth, righteousness, reciprocity, harmony, um, anything along those lines will always, have a high moral character, good hygiene. Hygiene meaning like mental hygiene, your comprehension and your context of things. Hygiene will just never go out of style. It will never go out of style. 2,000 years from now, those things will never go out of style. Because human beings want peace, they want harmony. We love reciprocity. We love justice. So it's what keep us together as a human family. And those things are forever. Those meiotic things will always be forever. As long as we exist, and even after we exist, even after the tree falls and there's no human to hear it, the grass still felt it, the birds still heard it, and they lost the nest. The insects heard it and felt it. So time is a consistent thing. You know what I mean? So, but those, righteous laws, righteousness never really ever go out of time and out of style. Taking the high road, being of high thought, staying at the Maya, learning to say things that you would say to somebody face, and you don't have to backtrack, your statements a lot. A lot of things is you see in society, a lot of people be backtracking because they ride that this is hot now, so I'm going to talk crazy about it now to get views or get likes. I am so glad, I'm really growing this channel to be so hyper organic and on my time, right? Like, it is a blessing to have forethought about what you want to do. And it's a thing not to take everything as a hustle. So for me to you, I'm just talking you from divine being to another divine being, because that's just how I see us. Anybody who watching this, that's just how I see you. Flaws and all. Your flaws is your prescription to elevate through your life. That's why flaws are different. You might meet people with different similar flaws of you, but it's all about that growth process. So this is a growth mindset, you know, page, the Neteru Rush, NTRURESH, doing the Monday jump off. I'm Capresha, now you get it where it comes from. But yeah, those sacred things never go out of time. I was having such a good conversation yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm a lot. I gotta work on that because my brain is happening at two things. But before I get into that conversation I was having yesterday, last weekend marked 14 years that my father passed away. So big rest in peace to my father, Ronnie Allen. Just an incredible man, I always tell everybody that I am a product of my Father's grace. So to you, Pops, I salute. I was listening to Chic and the Shy Lights and the Four Tops and all your theme songs, Herb Alpert this weekend. And it brought me to so many times and so many memories of just jumping around, watching you play your bass guitar and just being your excellent self. And just thank you for all your wisdom. Thank you for introducing me to books. And most importantly, thank you for teaching me the strongest thing on me is my mind. And that a man needs to be heart centered in his task and goals and keep consistent. Thank you for teaching me that as like a 3-4 year old young toddler boy. And I just never forgot that. You will always be my Superman hero. And thank you for being a father to my friends that didn't have fathers. So that's, shout out to my pops, died 2010, transmuted 2010. Energy still exists. I smelt your Ferragamo cologne this weekend, so I knew you was up. So yeah, got that out the way. Yeah, man, you get touched by certain things because 14 years just go like that. And that's what I'm saying about time. So getting into that conversation I had yesterday, a young sister, she hit me up. She asked me some questions that I really just thought was good. She asked me what books I was reading, what songs I was listening to, what kind of energy I'm building on. And I just think that's dope. So my question for all of you, what's the last 2 books or 1 book that you read, from, let's just say, December to now? I would like to know. Please add it to the comments or just shoot me a personal message on the back end. Hit me up. And or what 3 or 4 songs you've been rocking with that brings you joy, that edifies your spirit, and what kind of energy system you sitting with. Are you getting more sunlight? Are you spending more time in the pool dealing with that water frequency? I would just like to know so I can have a deeper understanding who's rocking with me, and so I can understand, so we can rock better with we and set up some things. So, one last thing before I get into our secret book, The 48 Laws of Power, the so-called evil book, and bring out the positive side to the thing. Shout out to my jiu-jitsu coach, Dan Culver. We're moving to our school on 36, I think 8th and 9th. Really happy my coach finally got our school be opening sometime end of this week or next week. And so we just setting up the wall mats and stuff like that. So salute to the coach, salute to our team. We'll be able to train more often now. And for those who are trying to come try out jiu-jitsu, there'll also be a kickboxing classes happening and all that other good stuff. And I think there's even going to be a weight room. So if you train with me, you can meet me there. And we can work out there too now and do some other cool stuff. So yeah. So we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna stay here a bit because there's a lot of stuff in this book that I feel get misconstrued, or people always try to make it out to be the villainous book of all books, and it's really not. Anything you read, you can use it as good or bad information. You can take it as godlike information or malevolent information. That all depends on your spirit. So I could have said all this. I said all this positive stuff in the beginning, but if your spirit is looking for the loophole, the negative, you're always going to come out with something negative because that's a you thing. That's your energy system, and I guess that's fine too because all things have to exist in time and space. You know what I mean? So it's all good. So it makes no sense to argue with the negative, pessimistic, or evil, or demonic, or those filled with alcohol type of person. That spirit is in them. And unless they want to remove the spirit out of them, there ain't no sense to even go back and forth, because then it starts riling you up and you end up in an avalanche of nothingness. So, law number 35. As you can see, once again, things are outlined. We really study books. Master the art of time. Never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself and over time. Always seem patient, as if you know that everything will come to you eventually. Become a detective of the right moment. Sniff out the spirit of the times, the trends that will carry you to power. Learn to stand back when the time is not yet right, and to strike fiercely when it has reached fruition. Fruition. And yeah, that's deep. So, law number 35 right here. Master the art of time. I remember reading this back in like 2000, 2001. This book is really old. It's one of my older books, at least 20 years old. But time will save you. Appreciating your time and knowing when to do something, how to do something, will add longevity to you. It was a time where a lot of people crashing out and, putting themselves in bad situations, in bad timing, right? Trying to follow trends, trying to follow associates, um, people setting people up to crash out on their time. Oh, go shoot this up, go do this, go do that, and then basically setting people up so they can remove their self out of society and take all their positive out of the society, end up in a penitentiary. So you see the hustle on people moving on other people's time. If you're moving on somebody else's timeline, you are definitely being swindled. I get it, when you're young, you're moving on your parents' time. They have to be to work, this, that, and the third. But parental figures tend not to be the villains of their child. Hopefully not. But that's a whole different story. But in context, what I'm saying is when you're moving on strange people time or associated people time, it's very important that you have an understanding of who and what trying to move you. Meaning, I did an investment in a particular crypto, and I tried to tell everybody about it super early, super early. Like, I wouldn't say like, let's just say I was like a year and a half, 2 years ahead of when it was going to pop. And I literally just said, hey, if you got a hundred to $1,000, just stick it in here and just leave it. Some people did it, some people didn't. So when it popped and it bubbled and it went up, and your $350 went to like 17K, right? 17, 18K. And at one point it touched even 40K. And I'm just talking about like $300, $400 investment touched damn near 40K. A lot of people was hitting me up like, yo, should I get in now? That FOMO, that fear of missing out. And they seemed very disappointed because I said, I don't know, because it could just drop. It won't go back as low as when I told you that you should check this out and investigate it. But it might not get that high for a long time. So never buy anything high like that. That's a bad investment way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? So when we deal with time and somebody persuading you, if it's something good and you have resources, it's a good time thing. Take your chances with that type of time. That's an art form. But if you're trying to chase it, if you're always waiting and waiting and waiting for this right opportunity to do a thing, you're probably going to miss your time that it would have been more beneficial for you, right? So instead of a thing being at like like 0.008 or 0.006, you coming in at the 10 cent mark. And granted, that 10 cent mark might be okay because it may be going to $1, but you still miss that time. And that's what I'm talking about. Like a lot of things be happening and people really be missing out on certain things. It's like my father once told me his story. He was like, son, my greatest regret was when I had the money. He said, not only did I have the money, my father was old school. You know, he kept like 20, 30, 40,000 in the freezer. Like, you know, they ziplock it, wrap it in aluminum foil, sticking in the freezer. So it looks like a steak patty or whatever. And he said he just remember he had like 20K to invest in Apple back then. But this was when Apple was like, I think Apple was like 25 cents, right? So we talking like way back then. We talking about 80s, you know? And he said that was his greatest thing of missing the time. Even though he had the connection, he had the association and the affiliation, he knew the person, because he couldn't see the vision of the future. He said he missed his time, and you know that always stuck with me. Like hearing my father, who I just thought was always on time, but I completely understood as I got older. So when I see opportunities, or when you see opportunities, if you have the resource, there's no need for you. If you already have a watch, right? We have watches. If you own a Rolex and if you own or whatever, how many more of those things you can own that you won't take time to invest in something for future date? Because as human beings, our goal is to age well. You know, our goal is to gray. You know, granted, my hair's still dark, but one day, hopefully, this turns gray, and you know, I'm an old man in a beach chair. You know, and I finally get to drink sangria and chill out. But because you know, I'm going into the winters of my life, that is the goal. You know, we start off in the spring, we young, but like right now, I'm in the summer, shining. I know what I want to do, how I want to do it. I gain my strength, and I'm right on time. But don't miss out and don't chase things. If you have the resource, use your resource to set yourself up for a future date, because anybody watching me and anybody I'm talking to, I believe you will have longevity into this world. I'm not saying you won't have problems. I'm saying that you will have longevity. So within that longevity, set yourself up for wealth and success. So back to the art of time. So this is a good one. It's a lot of different parables in this, but I just wanted to just get into these four. Um, that is critical that you recognize the spirit of the times. You know, you must always work with the times, anticipates twists and turns, and never miss the boat. Sometimes the spirit of the times is obscure. Recognize it not by what is the loudest and most obvious in it, but by what lies hidden and dormant. You know, what's coming up. It's undeniable. Whether we understand it or not, we are going into an AI crypto world. That's not my thing. I still write everything down. I still have actual books. Um, I still do certain things from an analog perspective. I do things kids should play with, like abacus, and learn to count on their fingers and learn how to write everything out and learn cursive. You know, cursive is a lost art form. I'm about to stay on my board and just work on my cursive just because I don't want to lose the art form. So, but as far as the time go, simple text message would do it, a simple emoji would do. We basically going back to hieroglyphics of ancient Kemet, you know, Medu right? Next is recognizing the prevailing winds does not necessarily mean running with them. You can't ride every wave. Like, just because society dictates something, you know it's incorrect. To be like, yeah, just to fit in, you're gonna be like, oh, it's correct. Now, I'm not saying you got to go full kamikaze on a particular thing and set yourself up for failure in your job, in your career, but recognizing when something is just incorrect. For example, I was reading the New York Post. and a lady was talking about how she wants to be referred to as a dog. She's going into plant, like, she's she you can no longer refer to her as a human being, and she's trying to get it passed in law, whereas if somebody call her a human, she can possibly sue them. Now, that's a form of insanity, but the fact of the matter is certain waves are happening whether we like it or not. And to answer your question, how do we stop it? I don't know if we can, because time is doing this. The world is doing this yo-yo effect, and this weird spiral energy is happening. So who knows? Too much information without context, too much emotional calamity happening. I don't know if it can be stopped, to be honest with you. Next is, without patience as your sword and shield, your time will fail and you will inevitably find yourself a loser. The weaker position he played for, this is the story of Fouché. The weaker position he played for time, which he knew would always be his ally if he was patient, recognized the moment then to hide in the grass or slither under the rock, as well as the moment to bare your fangs and attack. Remember, space we can recover, time never. So a certain level of patience, a certain level of understanding the energy, and a certain level of putting yourself into a particular position, meaning who you dealing with, while you're dealing with them, your emotional state, etc. It's all about the art of time, keeping your body healthy through the ages, so you spend less time in the hospital, more time out, friends, family, kids, at the beach. Everything is time. Time is an art form. Learn to express it. That's why I'm trying to give different type of time here for the Monday jump off. But I do think coming in at 4:30 in the morning is the wave if I'm not traveling. So say all that to say this. I appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. Hope you got some jewels this Monday. And I'll catch you next week. Remember, you're the king and queen of your life. Put your right foot forward and keep stepping. I'm Kapresh. This is the Monday Jump Off number 164. Peace.